I truly believe it's very brave and courageous because it's not easy to talk about losing a sibling, and I'm totally like.
I know you know.
Yeah, you know I know. And I'm gonna get like, oh God.
It's gonna be all right.
Okay. So anyway, I had you on because like I wanted a different point of view. We've had someone who had a child struggling who made it out, and is she's from the movie 4 Good Days. That was Libby Alexander, and we're just trying to get all point of views. And so I lost my brother, but it wasn't of addiction, and I've lost friends to addiction, but I don't understand the point of view of like my parents or as a sibling. So how was it growing up? Like you're younger than your brother, so
Yeah.
like. Was it at a young age you knew? Did it one day just be like he's different? Like how was it growing up with Mike?
So my brother was a professional motorcycle racer, and he was traveling with my father, and he got in a motorcycle accident. He lost both his fingers. They were able to reattach one, and he got addicted to pain pills. So that's kind of how it started, and it just snowballed from there.
Okay.
With addiction, he kind of was like, oh, I'm not addicted, I'm fine. And
So what age was that at? Like how old was he then?
So it was 20 years ago, probably 20
And
years
so
ago.
he was 42, so okay, you're saying like 22.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So early on in his career, is something he was dealing with.
And,
rough.
he lost his identity then because he couldn't ride anymore, and that's kind of what he thought
That's
he
what he
would be
did,
doing,
yeah.
and he couldn't do it anymore.
Okay. Wow. It's really awful.
Yeah, that's got to be brutal. Strike to the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Think that's what you're going to be. I mean, growing up, like how cool of a job that would be. Like any little boy would want to do something like
Right.
that. So to have that taken away had to be brutal.
Yeah. And,
No, sorry, but go ahead.
nope, keep going.
No, I just wanted to ask. I didn't know your brother. We may have crossed paths. I don't know. I've met a lot of people that I don't remember. So that he passed away in Montgomery now. I don't know what it was. It fentanyl by chance?
Fentanyl, yeah. I saw him the week leading up to his death, and he came in the office. He looked amazing. He was so proud of himself. He was off methadone, off heroin. He just looked great. And then I got a text Saturday, hey, I got to talk to you. You're going to be around later. And I was going to the Montgomery Parks for my kids. They had softball right there, and I knew he was staying in the house that was right behind there. And I said, yeah, I told him the days of the games. Next day, didn't hear from him. He never showed up, which wasn't not normal.
Right.
But being that he looked so good and was doing so well and proud of himself, it was kind of weird. And middle of the night, 11 o'clock at night, I got a phone call. He was gone.
Now, I don't want to say stuff that I can't ask, or that's why I kind of asked you beforehand. Is there anything I cannot ask? Now, I'm not saying any other names because I honestly really don't know, but have heard that house in Montgomery has been, I don't want to say a death trap, but I've heard from people that, there's always like talking about that house that several people have passed away and nobody seems to be doing anything. I don't know if there is anything that can be done. Are you guys trying to do something?
So I kind of spiraled after his death, and I was like, what? This just doesn't happen. Like, you 20 years on and off drugs, never has he overdosed. There's no heroin in his system. He loved heroin and methadone and Xanax and, straight fentanyl. Like, he was a professional. He was a scientist. You know what I mean? Like,
we kind of learned.
Yeah. And so I started foiling documents. People started providing me stuff. And there's been a lot of deaths in that house, a lot of revived overdoses in that house. It's, a very high profile public person. There's a police officer and, a politician and their son. And I don't know why people are so they're like, oh, this has been going on for years. And I'm like,
and they're okay with it.
Why?
And they're just turning their head to it?
If 2 people died in my house, I'd have a full investigation. My house would be gutted and whatever. How is this still happening? And
so did you find out about that after he passed? Like of so many others, or did you know?
After he passed. I didn't really know anything about these people before he passed. I knew the kid. I had invited Mike over. He asked for money. So I said, well, you can work for me. I have some construction to do on my house. And he brought the guy over, and I had another contractor there. And the contractor's like, get that kid out of your house. He's bad news, meaning the guy he was with. And I kicked them both out. And I'm like, I have kids. Like, you can't bring
Right.
people. Like, you know, like, I have to
You don't
protect
want
my
that environment.
family.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know what my brother is, and I know he'd never hurt me, but I don't know who he spends his time with.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, that crowd brings seediness, shadiness. You
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
The best people turn into the demons,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
It's awful.
Yeah. So,
So do you know like, how many like, I'm sorry with the do you knows, because like I don't want to say I'm intrigued. That's not the right word about that house, but like there's just so much I want to know. Besides like people are just turning their head to it. Was it like, has it been years that people? Because like I know one person, he didn't pass away in that house, but I believe he passed away on the ventilator. I don't remember who, you know, how long ago that was, but I don't know. It's like been years.
years. Yes, years. Different types of deaths. There's been, 20-year-old girls in a 50-year-old man's house slitting their wrists. Like, there's been overdose deaths. There's been revived deaths. Revivals. And it just seems like no one that is in the house that lives there is the people that are dying. It's always the people that are
visiting.
And, if you foil the reports and you look at the people where they're coming from, it's all the same addresses. So are they getting it from there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're protected that much and
There's
you're not
something
getting in
going on.
trouble, every drug addict in this area is going to that
Exactly.
house. Like, you're
kinda
going to
scary.
go
You know
where
you're not.
safe.
You're fine. You're safe.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That blows my mind. I lived in a house with somebody that overdosed, and like it was a big deal. Right? A couple days later, the cops were back investigating, and they knew it was an accidental thing, but it's still like a murder investigation almost.
Right.
It should be handled
Yeah.
as a murder.
Yeah, like
Especially
investigation.
fentanyl poisoning. you know,
Exactly. Yeah,
like-
I was saying I used to hang out in a house, and nobody had passed away in it. And the police knew it was basically like a drug house. Everybody was going there. It wasn't like a trap house because it wasn't set up like it, but the police knew, and they probably got calls from the neighbors, so they made us board up the house.
Yeah.
And we did it, and it
That's
wasn't
what should
like so
happen.
that
It should
nobody
be
got in trouble.
condemned.
But the crazy thing was then we found out we could just lift the boards and go inside. And then nobody knew we were there because every window was boarded up. But my point is like they just knew there was drug activity going on, and that's what they made them do.
Yeah.
The village made us do. It just doesn't even make sense.
So speaking to someone, because I don't know what this house is, so I'm assuming it's like some condemned house, but it's not. Like,
No,
this is just
there's
people
illegal
living there.
activity going in there. There's recently a couple kids that go to that house. They've been caught in the park. They like to lure young girls.
And it's
Oh, I
still
got
up in there.
drugs, and then
Yeah.
they
Oh
pimp
my-
them out.
Yeah,
and
no, this sounds like an
That's
abandoned
really
house that you go
happening?
shoot
that's
up in.
happening in
Oh my
that.
God.
Yeah,
Especially in the village of
And-
Montgomery, it's like one of the safest towns in the United States. It really is. It's like
Yeah.
on the top 100 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Scary.
it's a little crazy, especially because it's backed up against our parks and stuff like that, and nothing seems to really be happening. And a lot of the police are like, "Well, that's New York State," and it's like, really
It's
though,
not, Is it, though.
really?
Yeah, is it not
Because
lives?
I know I'd be in jail if that were my house.
Yes, exactly.
And is it not innocent people? Like at the end of the day, like doesn't matter what it is, death is death.
Right.
Somebody's brother, sister, or whatever the case may be, and it's just up and running. That's disheartening, to
Very.
say the least.
Very.
Sure.
I never heard about that, like luring in kids and stuff. That is absolutely terrifying. That park is like, you're talking about the main park,
Yeah,
correct?
Village of Montgomery Park.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's about the same one because my kids have played sports there. Literally everybody I know plays sports there. It's
I
always
had
packed
to
in the
sit
summer.
there the next day or 2 days later and watch my daughter playing a softball game, staring at the house that my brother died in. Like when the night he died, I literally went to the house in the pouring rain, called my friend, a police officer. I didn't believe it. I was like, "There's no way." Like my brother wasn't in Newburgh shooting up in the gutter of the
in the
street,
projects, yeah.
Right.
whatever. Like he didn't even shoot heroin; he snorted it. And in my head, I'm like, "Oh, that's why he's stayed alive this whole time. Like he's not."
Safer
Right.
He's going to
alternative.
work. He's, his drug of choice was Xanax.
Yeah.
He loves that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah, that's a scary situation that's just going on like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm an outsider, I didn't know. Like I'm thinking this is some boarded up house that's just in a nicer area. So to
no.
know that that's still going on, there's definitely
There's a lot of
something.
kids that frequent there too. After he passed away, I went there and, there's like 10 kids in the garage. The garage is open and I'm just
my
like, what is going on?
So like totally after this, I'm asking you which one it is because I've been there a million times and I never knew. I always heard it was a house in Village Montgomery. No one ever told me where it was. I never knew. So I totally got to figure out which one it is.
I don't remember the name of the street.
No, it's okay. I'll totally ask you after. It's not hard to figure out. You have the police station and you have the main street. I'm sure we.
Yeah, it's a little dead end road. There's 3 houses, 3 drug houses right there. All of them.
All
on
3
the
of
road.
them. Is it the same ring of people that own it?
No, one of them's someone else separately, and then the one person owns both houses.
Oh wow,
It's crazy.
that is. I didn't know like as many details as you said. Like, I never heard that much. I've just heard certain things over the years.
You would think that the fact it's in a suburban neighborhood, upper class, like, it'd be getting more attention. Not that the city of Newburgh doesn't deserve it, but when it touches closer to home, things get raised up, unfortunately. So to hear that something like that's still going on, like, makes you wonder, like, what kind of shadiness is really going on
Right.
or something like that. I mean, that's really close to home. People move away from areas like that to get away from things like that.
I know, and like myself, like I became obsessed with it for a while. That's why
I don't blame you.
It took
Yeah,
me a
I
while to reach
totally-
out to you because I was like, I'm just not ready yet.
No,
like,
I didn't even. Since you reached out that one day, I was like, I'm just gonna ask her this. But like, it's I give you a lot of credit because it's very hard to do what you're doing, and I understand that, and I know that from my own brother passing. Like, it's very difficult. You know what I mean? Anyway, I've noticed since I think December, or did I see you before that? December, you were at my event at the memorial,
Yeah.
and you're just like jumping in, and that's great because a lot of people, maybe it's because they don't know how to deal with it, or they're not ready, or they just don't want to. But like, you're trying to make like a difference and raise awareness, and that's just I commend you
sure.
for that.
I mean,
because
I
it's
was
so
the-
fresh too. It's not even a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I always tried to. Like, I helped my brother. He lived with me. I dropped him off at rehab. I picked him up from rehab. I brought him sneakers in jail. Like, he was my brother. He was my
Right.
best friend. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I'd do anything for him.
Yeah.
I'd protect him. I'd get him clean. Like, I was actively trying to work with the police to get him arrested before this even happened
Wow.
in the winter, because winters are always bad for drug addicts.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible out there.
Going through the years of my brother, winters are the worst.
Yes.
And
For sure.
it's holidays and it's sad. You have family, they don't show up.
Yeah, I remember the days on the streets in the winter is the worst time of the year. I mean,
Right.
no time's good, but wintertime, holiday season, you see no point in life anymore. I
Right.
mean,
That
like,
definitely makes it tougher when you're in an
Yeah.
active addiction. The holidays, they just make it worse.
I mean, thank you for sticking by your brother's side. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I did and I didn't. Like, we all had our times where we're like,
have to
you got to
protect
cut them
yourself.
off.
Right.
You got
Yeah.
to stop. They got to stop taking
It's very
advantage of you.
understandable.
Absolutely.
And at that point, I was like, when he comes around, I love him. But when he's not coming around, like, I knew he probably wasn't doing good.
So he avoided you guys? Yeah,
And
typical.
I have 2 little girls that he loves. He's so good with kids, and
Yeah.
he knew when he come over and he's sweating, and you could tell.
The
Like,
last thing we want anybody to see is us like that. Like,
Yeah. Right.
especially sounded like a good-hearted dude. Like, I never wanted my parents or family or friends to see
Yeah.
me like that. Like, I'm gonna protect you from me as well because
Right.
you don't want your nieces to have that, your daughters to have that memory of their
Yeah.
own.
Exactly.
exactly.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, that sorry, that hits me. The whole staying away from family and being loved from afar. Like, it sounds terrible, but that's what you guys have to do to protect yourselves.
I feel like you don't realize though until after they're gone that like they're trying just as hard as you want them to be clean. Like,
Yeah.
you don't believe it because they lie over and over and they promise and it's always open-ended and it's that same recurring cycle. But like, if I go back now, like, I would just be like, you're okay, you're fine, like, you're going to work. Like, I would give him more momentum and more, like, I wouldn't, not that we put him down, but it was like, oh, you're high, you know what I mean? And it's like, why are you high again? Like, it was always like, you could do better, which is great, but like, to them, they don't think you can, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like,
you're stuck in that
Exactly.
perpetual cycle.
I feel like to pull him out of that was more of like, hey, I can see you're still messing up, but I want you to be around me and, just don't
Right,
bring
you just-
people
you
around
can't
me.
go
You know what
back,
I
though,
mean?
and
Like,
you can't like
Yeah,
do
you
that. I don't want
can't.
you to do that to
I
yourself.
know,
You
It's hard. You
know?
think these things cycle
It's always
in your
like, what
head.
if? I totally get
what
it.
ifs.
Yeah.
Like, what could I have done different?
Right.
We know
And-
at the
yes.
end of the day.
Right.
Like, I can speak from experience. We know, like, the things that we say in haste aren't meant. It's what we're doing. Like, we don't hate the addict. We hate the disease.
Exactly.
But things get twisted. Like we do things and
You leave groceries outside from, like, I'm not going to give you $200, but here's some
Yeah.
groceries. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
they're like, I want the money. Like,
yeah,
Right.
they don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So you have another sibling, and Paige is younger than
Paige.
you, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And she was at the event with you as well.
she was, yeah. We were very tight, my sister and I. Like, we kind of got through this together, and we have definitely two separate personalities on and how we handled my brother. She was more like distant. I was more like, I'm gonna save you,
Right.
type personalities. And like, I used to be jealous of her because she could just like cut like cold turkey,
Right.
and I was like, can't sleep at night, crying myself to sleep, having nightmares. You know what I mean? And then, you know, when everything happens, it doesn't even matter how you handle it.
Right.
It's just the way that you're gonna handle it.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, you don't know until you live it, unfortunately.
And it's hard from the outside looking in. Like, it's so hard to watch someone you love so much struggle. Like, it's the hardest thing in the world. Like, they think, oh, I have the problem. But, like, watching it,
Yeah.
being not
Right.
on something is harder.
Feeling helpless. like,
Almost.
Oh, my
wanting
girlfriend.
to rescue.
My girlfriend always says like she was just as sick as her brother because as much as he was out doing whatever, you know, she was at home worrying and being like, sick
Yeah.
over herself or sick over him. You know what I mean? And her life became obsessed with trying to help her brother. He had passed away too. He was cirrhosis of the liver and stuff. But I never really heard it that way until she told me that she was just as sick as him. And it's like I've learned a lot from being in recovery. Things that I never thought about. Now I feel more terrible. Being clean, thinking
Yeah.
of certain situations that like. So I think for myself, the longer I have clean, the more memories I have where I really feel like a horrible, awful person to my children. And it's like, can't believe I did that. Like,
Yeah.
But you gotta just let it go.
exactly. It's like I'm telling you, you can't change it.
Yeah.
I can't
I
change it
know.
either,
The
unfortunately.
thoughts there, change a thought, move a muscle. I mean, I
Exactly.
go through the same thing. I dwell. It doesn't prove anything. That's why, like, we live on for today and bring
Exactly.
awareness
People
and-
on the other side just want to see you smile. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, all the stuff that you did, that like that trauma response, it's like having a kid. Like, you don't
Right.
remember what you went through.
Right.
You have another one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like,
yeah. I like that analogy.
That was- yeah,
like,
definitely.
That's the only way I can
perfect.
put it.
And I'm
Not
still
that
in,
I can understand, but
I'm still in
it makes
shock that
sense.
you did a half a marathon yesterday.
Yeah.
And you're 6.5 months pregnant. Like I was like, wait, what? Like that is amazing.
It's, you know, to be in your head, like, I have to do it. Like, especially after, you know, watching my brother struggle. Like, that's when I connect with him. That's when I can talk to him. That's when I can get things through my mind that
Okay.
I need to.
So you find a sense of peace while you're doing it. It's a beautiful thing.
Sometimes
It
I don't
is.
want it. Like, when after he passed away, it took me a while to run again.
Yeah.
Because you go into that dark hole and
Yeah.
you're like, I can't think about it right now.
Understandable. But you did it pretty quick because, you know, it didn't take you too long to get back out running.
Yeah.
You have to find your purpose again as well, right?
Right.
Like you have
You
to
know,
live on.
Now I need it. Like, I want to talk to him. Like, now it's been long enough where it's like, our childhood memories come back, and like a song will come on and I'll remember it or something like that. So it's like, that's how I actually still have a relationship with him.
I totally understand what you're saying. I get it. Especially the certain songs thing, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have
Yeah.
a playlist that has like 900,000 songs on it. Not really, but a lot. And a song that my brother used to sing at karaoke was Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi.
Okay.
Such an old song. And I heard him sing at karaoke over the years. I don't know how many times, but I never really cared then. But after my brother passed away, that song became like monumental for me. I'm like, I
Oh,
hear
for
that. That's
sure.
like a sign from my brother. And then one day we was talking about him, and the song came on next, and I was like, that is my brother. Because there's no way out
Yeah,
of
it's
all
talking
these
to you.
songs,
Yeah.
you know, this one just happened to come on next. I'm like, thank you, Stephen. Like, I needed that, you know?
Isn't that amazing though? When you see the signs, you're like, wow, they're here right now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
it's cool.
definitely is.
They're smiling down on you.
And he'd be really proud of you, you know, like trying to, raising, I don't want to say trying.
He was
You're raising
always proud.
awareness.
He was
Yeah.
very vocal. My brother is a really good older brother, very protective of us, goofy, little mama's boy. Like, his heart was gold. He just had an issue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It was his own worst
he
enemy.
never stopped being a good guy. He just couldn't figure, I don't know. I wish so much that he was right here. Like, you guys are doing so many good things for our community right now.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you. Like your story touches me. Mine's different. It was a loved one as well, but like bringing back and the memories and stuff like that, like it sucks, like because I went from being the addict to watching the one go through it. So like I have this whole different perspective on it, and I used to do the same things. It's like, well, what if I said this or that, and it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't change.
I mean, people
anything.
do that. I can go out drinking one night and I do that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It's very,
Yeah.
like, you can't beat yourself up
No,
about it.
Right.
You know what I
don't.
mean? Like,
I've learned to move on. Like I was there. She knew I was there. Like I got to spend the time, and you know that chapter of my life is something different.
And you know
now.
what, Frank? I'm like actually so like I don't know if you've seen or heard Frankie's story before on one of those podcasts, but he actually was in recovery, and it wasn't even that long, and he was living with her, and she was using, and the fact that you didn't give in and you like stayed strong, and we still have you is that I don't know how you did it. Honestly, I don't know if I'd be able to live with someone using. You know?
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the easiest thing, but it doesn't solve anything, man. Like, it doesn't solve anything. What am I gonna do? Be there next to her? Like, I live this amazing life now, and I'm doing things in her honor, in my name as well. But like, you know, it gives a little extra oomph sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Right.
cool. Like,
And you
we
have a lot of
survived
life
this.
to live. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. You know, you calculate it. Oh, I've been a drug addict for 20 years. Like, I'm just putting into
No,
perspective my brother. But, like, in my head, I'm like, you still had 40 years to go.
Yeah.
Like, if you stopped. You know what I mean? Like, you can literally, everything that you lost, get it right back.
Absolutely. I mean, I rebuilt my life at 34.
Yeah.
Still
Mine's
doing it every
36.
day.
Young.
And I
Yeah.
still like we feel like me and Frank are in school.
Yeah,
like
we're
we're
doing it.
still. It's not. I feel like it's never ending.
I still feel like that I'm that 13-year-old boy. Like, I still live like it sometimes, like, because I feel like I robbed myself of that with the
yeah,
addiction. So,
childhood,
like,
yeah.
the way I live, like, I have posters and shoes, and, like, people say things to me, and I'm like, dude, this makes me happy. Like, because I remember when I didn't have anything when I was
Right.
homeless. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's that nostalgic part of, like, the part of childhood that I lost, like, by myself, to be able to relive it and be like, cool, I'm 40 almost, and, like, I could buy those Jordans or do whatever. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
I totally get that. I went into a Timberland. I know
Yeah.
yours is Jordans. I had so many Timberlands, and I lost everything. And when I had gotten clean and gotten a job and started getting on my feet, I was buying. I have so many Timberlands. I don't even really wear them anymore. Like,
Yeah.
so much of them. But like,
All
I
those
just had to get
things
them.
that you just
It's
are
just,
like,
I
you
think
know
it's
what?
just, yeah, it's just something, because I couldn't do it because everything else was like, for that one habit. Like, that was it. Every cent. I was like, well, if I don't buy this, if I don't eat today, I could, you know, I'll be loaded all day. Like, now,
Right.
Yeah.
it's like so nice. I'm like, cool, I could go buy a coffee and not worry about it. Like, it's simple things.
And I was just gonna say, and something as simple as that, I was not
Yeah.
able to do at points.
No.
You know, and even if I had the
Dunkin' or
$1.50 for the
Starbucks
coffee,
was luxury.
oh gosh,
Like,
and even if I had it, I would have been like, all right, that can go towards this bag.
yeah.
You know,
My brother would.
The obsession.
yes.
He would literally buy like a motorcycle, golf clubs, or whatever, and ride them, be so proud of himself, make money, get in a good spot, and then boom, everything sold. Then buy him again like 2 years later, and I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, for me, I'm an accountant, so I'm like, you just have to budget.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you make money, you work. Like, I know you have an addiction, and it's like, but where is it going? And I'm like trying to plead with him. I'm like, I'm watching you buy a couch 10 times in
Yeah.
20 years because you sold it.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
That was me and watches. So my
Was it?
Yeah, first Christmas I was sober. My mom bought me a nice watch because she knew like it wasn't going to end up in dope dealers' hands, and it's been a tradition ever since.
That's
I'm just
amazing.
not wearing one today, but like,
I like
just-
that.
I just
That's
wanted to see if
actually
there's any
awesome.
questions.
yeah, it's like just a little thing between her and I, like because you know that was one thing like she would know, like, where's your watch, and I'd put my head down and shake.
Yeah.
You know, like,
The gold chains, or
Yeah.
I'm like,
So speaking of Laura Finizzi, she said that house needs to be raided.
Yeah.
Anna Sarah said that's awful. Stacy said, I'm so sorry. I feel you. I lost my brother to addiction. That's what I was telling you about. Anna Sarah said, you go, girl. Ashley Nelson gave a heart. Caesar Babadia wrote, a good support system matters. Family, friends, and community. J.S. Santana wrote, I'm so sorry for your loss.
I just, she's the best.
thank you. I appreciate the support, guys.
And if you guys have any questions or anything, we have a few more minutes.
So how do you not say live on? You're obviously doing it, but is there like something you could tell the struggling brother or sister right now? Like, because there's somebody who's watching this that you're gonna help, just like our show helps all the time.
I don't necessarily know if there's someone that I'm going to help. I think just the family members that are watching it happen, like that person's still inside there. They're not going anywhere. They still need love. Tell them you love them. Show up for them. Don't, like, we didn't give, like, if Mike borrowed money, he paid it back. It might have been 6 months or 2 years later, but
Right.
he paid it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, towards the end, we didn't give him money. We gave him our time. We gave him a hug. We bought food for him. Stuff like that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Stuff like
Like,
that.
Because
yeah.
you knew where the money was going. At least you knew he had a full stomach and stuff like that. I totally get
and
it.
if you're gonna, like, just the support you need, like, they need it. They don't need to hear they know what they're doing wrong,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they're
That
already
is
disappointed
100%.
in themselves. They don't need to hear it over and over again. They don't need to hear I don't care.
Yeah, they don't need to be a punching bag.
Right.
You just got to keep saying the same thing over and over and just hope it clicks one day.
Right.
And arrest them, like, get them arrested,
Mm-hmm.
bring them, like, we always got my brother arrested.
It's rescuing them.
He might come out of jail and okay, he did 8 months or 2 months or
It
whatever
was 8 months longer you had him.
and
Yeah.
You knew,
he
you know.
might never do it ever again.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And he
Like,
knew he was safe
don't, like,
ish.
yeah, like, that's what I don't understand about this house either, is like, your son's now 50 something years old. If you got him arrested, condemned the house, whatever, and he went to jail, you might have a clean son.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
You
Or
could save others' lives.
yeah,
Exactly.
So
I'm really
that's
sorry you went through that.
Definitely. Me too.
everything I can say, really.
No, that was
That-
beautiful.
yeah, I was just
Like,
gonna
I'm
say
still
exactly, it's
mourning. I'm
perfect.
still grieving.
No, I understand.
I still
That's
go the
never
ebbs
gonna-
and flows
you don't have
of
to explain
it.
Right,
nothing.
and
Like,
that
that was
doesn't-
beautiful. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No,
like
no, no,
that.
no. I appreciate
And
it.
it
That was
doesn't
what I
go
wanted to
away.
hear.
Sometimes my brother,
No.
4 years in September that he's been gone. And some days I'm just like, my brother is really gone.
I
And
know.
It still
Actually,
doesn't-
now it hurts more than
It does.
it's
I
like,
tot-
wow, I'm never gonna hear his voice again. I was at my mom's this morning, and I'm walking out, and there's a picture, and he had the most beautiful smile, and he's smiling, and he's with me and Paige, and I'm like, damn, like, I'm never gonna see that smile again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, little pieces of reality set in.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere
I
sometimes.
almost started
Yes.
crying like that. I
Yeah.
was like,
So yes, it comes out of nowhere. And he's like, okay, got that out, and I'm good to go. You
Yeah.
gotta keep moving, you know. I think. Do you have anything else?
No, this was beautiful. I don't want to mess it up. Like that was perfect.
It
Just
was. It
thank you
really
for
was. I
coming
appreciate
on.
so
I'm
much.
nervous.
No, you were so. I couldn't imagine
I'm like
doing
shaking.
it. Like mine's been over 2 years now. Like, and it's a lot easier for me. Like, but it's not a sibling. Like, it's somebody that I shared a part of my life with.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine doing it less than a year. Like, I didn't want to talk about it the first time we did it. Like, I'm still waiting to truly open up about it. So, kudos to
I'm
you.
hoping that this house something happens. Like,
Yeah,
that's my
for
goal.
real.
Like, if can't bring my brother back, but like I can prevent something, and
Exactly.
that's really why I came
My
on
next
here.
sister from being on a show like this, unfortunately.
Not to bring this up, but we are having an event May 17th at the memorial, and it's
Okay.
Janelle's. No, it's Janelle's third annual. It just is a one about a lost one's. It's just celebrating people that you've lost, at the memorial.
Okay.
So you'll see the flyer
be there for
online and
sure.
everything. I really appreciate, like I said, you have no idea how much. Like I know that it's not easy to talk about. I completely get it, and it's not even been a year. So I commend you. You have no idea, and I appreciate so much that you did this.
Yeah, you invoked a lot in me tonight, so thank you.
I hope someone is touched.
Definitely.
Definitely. If that is, we're good?
I think so. That was
wait,
beautiful.
just want to say next week we have Mike Conklin on. It's going to be great. He's my friend that you probably know him from
I
Montgomery.
think he did my wedding. I think he
Catered it.
Yes,
Yes,
I think he
Nice.
catered
probably
my
did.
wedding.
Yeah, Mike is great. I've been friends with him for a while now, and he moved to Colorado, and he came back to visit, and he
wow.
he texted me, and I'm like, let's get breakfast, because we used to always go to IHOP for breakfast, and he's only here for a couple of short weeks, so he'll be here on St. Patrick's Day. How interesting is that?
Awesome.
That's Monday. All right,
It'd be
guys.
beautiful.
That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will
Thank
see
you
you
guys.
next week.
Bye.